The greatest bluff in MTG history. It's only 5 minutes long. I don't know that much about Magic, but maybe it's interesting. Maybe it could be cool.
The year was 2005. Luis Scott Vargas, aka LSV, who would go on to later be known as one of the greatest Magic the Gathering players of all time, shows up to a Magic tournament with a grand prize of a single piece of cardboard, a Mox Jet, a card that is today worth upwards of $8,000. The deck he was playing
Bro, that's a Fiendsmith engine.
was powerful, although the game plan was somewhat complex. Essentially, the deck looks to play the card Gifts and Given at the end of the opponent's turn, and then on your own turn win the game. Gifts and Given allows you to look through your deck and take out any 4 unique cards. Then your opponent chooses 2 of those cards to be discarded, and the other 2 are put into your hand. The trick here is that you get 2 cards that allow you to play cards from your discard pile, meaning that you will always have access to whatever combination you need no matter what choice your opponent makes. With the 2...
Oh, this is an interesting... I know what the bluff is about, right? Because the bluff is like you show... It's painful choice, basically, right? For Magic. So it's painful choice, and I'm sure the bluff is about, like, making your opponent give you something that you want, and so on and so forth.
Remaining cards, you can grab the famous Black Lotus for mana, and another card that lets you search your deck again to continue the combo. This chain reaction eventually ends by playing the card Burning Wish, which lets you take a card from outside the game and put it into your hand.
What? You may choose a sorcery card you own from outside the game, reveal that card, and put it into your hand? What the hell? Dude, Magic cards are wild.
The card you almost always get is Tendrils of Agony, which deals 2 damage to your opponent for each spell played that turn, usually resulting in an instant win. The first round of the tournament goes exactly to plan for Lewis. He plays out the combo and his opponent knows the deck he's running, so simply concedes from the game when Lewis goes to cast Burning Wish after playing a significant portion of the cards in his entire deck that turn. This is a common thing for Magic players to do when the opposing player is doing a combo, because if you know your opponent is going to win, then there's often no point in wasting time while they fiddle around with more cards. Round 2 goes the same way. Lewis plays out his combo, his opponent gives up, and Lewis wins. The only problem was that the whole time, LSV didn't even have Tendrils of Agony in his deck. It turns out...
my math is wrong! I miscalculated. We have over 2 hours. Oh, that's unfortunate. Wait. So, was the plot twist right now that he didn't even own the card? That's so stupid, though. Because, like, it says you can add a card you own from outside of the game, which means technically you can have all the cards, right? Why would you not just have it? In tournaments, it is from the side deck? Oh, was that the ruling for the card? Okay, okay. That makes more sense. Okay. So, but what was the reason for not putting it in the side deck? Like, did you actually think you were not gonna need it because people just scoop? Or did he forget? He forget. Okay. Because, I mean, I feel like there's no other reason.
Preparing for the tournament, he realized he was 1 card short of a full deck, and he decided to add in a card draw spell, Deep Analysis. What he didn't realize was that the card he was missing was his only win condition, Tendrils of Agony. Without this 1 card, the only way he had of killing his opponent was a single large creature that would take about 3 turns to kill, giving the opponent plenty of time to make a comeback. But Burning Wish takes the card from outside the game, so everything is fine. Lewis can just find someone with the card he needs and borrow it for the tournament, right? Or can he? You see, outside the game does not actually mean that you get to pull any card you feel like out of your backpack and use it. In most Magic the Gathering tournaments, you actually have 2 sets of cards, a main deck and a sideboard. The main deck is what you would normally expect a Magic deck to be, but a sideboard is a smaller pool of cards designed to be swapped in and out of the main deck between games and best 2 out of 3 matches. Due to a technicality in the rules, in the sanctioned Magic the Gathering events, cards that let you choose cards from outside the game can only...
See, I should have just watched the video, but I just had so many questions pop up. How can I be certain that my questions will be answered in the next 10 seconds if I don't ask my questions?
Only select cards from your sideboard, and due to another rule, you cannot change your main deck or sideboard during a tournament. What this essentially means is that Lewis would never be able to play the 1 card he needs to win the game for the duration of this tournament, because it wasn't in his registered deck list at the beginning. He would be stuck with the singular Darksteel Colossus, which was a vastly inferior win condition. But there is another way. LSV could just continue playing his combo, bluffing that he has the Tendrils of Agony in his sideboard. Everyone at the event knows what deck Lewis is playing. If his first two opponents conceded the game before seeing the tendrils, then maybe the others would too. After all, why wouldn't he have the most important card in his deck? After round 2, Lewis finally realizes while putting his cards back that he doesn't actually have the Tendrils of Agony in his sideboard.
Oh, he didn't even notice it. He just like did the thing and like the opponent was like, yeah, that's game. And he's like, yep, that's game. I guess that's a much more believable bluff if you yourself don't know that you don't have game.
Card from before. But what was he going to do? In round 3 of the tournament, Lewis starts playing his combo knowing that if his opponent simply sits in their chair and does nothing but stare at the wall, he will be playing cards aimlessly and eventually reach a brick wall once he has to choose a card for Burning Wish. What Lewis chooses to do is say something along the lines of, I play Burning Wish with 15 spells cast and 12 mana available, which to his opponent signals that Lewis has won the game due to having all the mana and cards available to do so, essentially a checkmate. This doesn't technically break the rules of the game because he didn't actually name a card not in his sideboard for Burning Wish, because his opponent concedes from the game before Burning Wish resolves and Lewis must choose a card to put into his hand, thus winning in round 3. Lewis continues to bluff his way through the remaining rounds of Swiss until he finds himself in the cut to top 8 playoffs, which is in a single elimination format. By some miracle, he manages to win his top 8 match as well, and then the top 4 players all agree to a tie to split the prizes. This ends up leaving Luis Scott Vargas with a 4-way tie for first place in the tournament, and nobody even knew until after the event that he did it all without actually having the winning card in his deck.
That's like when you're playing like Exodia FTK, but in order to make your deck more consistent, you only play 4 pieces, and then you I don't know, activate the search effect for the 5th one, like the Blue Dragon Summoner or whatever, and you just like show your opponent 4, and they just assume you're gonna grab the 5th. Well, assuming you can legally activate the searcher, right? But like basically that's what this means, right?
You might wonder what other players thought of LSV's antics once they found out. Lewis later wrote that the local players reacted with amusement and disbelief, and some even suspected that he had done this on purpose as a kind of galaxy brain deck building strat. While with hindsight we know that on this particular occasion it was an accident, there is actually an interesting argument to be made for not including a win condition in your combo deck. The reasoning is that by removing one otherwise useless card from your deck, you can replace it with another more useful card. This, after all, is why the deck played Burning Wish in the first place. Tendrils of Agony is only useful after you've already completed most of your combo. In contrast, Burning Wish can grab another sorcery card from your sideboard in a pinch. If you assume that virtually all opponents will concede before Burning Wish resolves, then you could replace Tendrils of Agony with another useful sideboard card, which might come in handy sometimes. Of course, you don't see people doing this, and it's probably because
the risk is way higher than the reward, potentially. Like, you get 1 side deck slot for the chance of completely auto-losing any game where your opponent wants to see your combo. It's not worth it at all, the trade-off.
They estimate that the minor increase in win percentage from gaining an extra sideboard card isn't worth the added stress and chances of a player not giving up and finding out that you don't actually have a win condition.
Yeah, that's funny. I like those kind of videos about other card games that are interesting and funny and make sense to you even if you don't know the game at all, right? Because you don't have to be playing Magic to understand this video. It's funny even if you play another card game. That's pretty cool. All right. But long story short, bro forgot his win condition in the side deck, so just acted like he had it and played the game normally and hoped the opponent would concede instead of dropping from the tournament. TLDR.